Welcome to your favorite sport program on TV, Plus Sport. I'm sure a lot of our viewers are already seated, ready to know what we have for them today. As usual, the program will be interesting, educative, and it's something you need to take back home and realize whether you should be a sport analyst, an athlete, or just spend your life promoting sport. I'm Mudashiru Shitu, and I'm sure a lot of viewers will know, but if you're just joining us, we do this Monday to Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. On Saturday, we do that between the hours of 10 and 11 and 12. On today's week, I have special guests in the house. I have on my left a Japanese, Shinya Tomonari, the president, Japan Africa Baseball and Softball Foundation. We call it JABS. It's good to have you on the show, Mr. Tomonari.
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me.
We are on far left is Mr. Kehinde Laniyan, who is the Secretary General of Nigerian Baseball Softball Association. Mr. Kehinde Laniyan, it's good to have you on the show.
Thank you so much.
This is the first time we're having Mr. Kehinde in the studio, but I spoke with him some few weeks ago via Zoom. It's good to have you on the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And if you are joining us today, this is not just about baseball or softball or the development of baseball. We also have other stories ranging from football, not forgetting we have the very fact that Edo City will be trying to stage their ninth Okpekpe 10-kilometer road race. And so much for you to see about Napoli winning Serie A for the first time in 33 years. I'm sure these are what is trending both locally and internationally. So let's start with the guests in the studio, Mr. Shinya Tomonari.
Yes.
Japan, America are well known for softball and baseball. But it's obvious that there's been so much promotion about this sport that a lot of Africans don't know so much about this sport.
Yes, about it.
How do you feel about that your beloved sport is not so celebrated in Africa, a continent with so much population?
Well, the baseball is, unfortunately, baseball is a very minor sport in Africa, but there are some national federations like in Nigeria, Ghana, Tanzania, South Sudan, and so on, Kenya, but they are now struggling to promote baseball in each country. And my foundation has been supporting their activity in their countries.
Okay, and coming to you, Mr. Kehinde Laniyan, I know your efforts in publications and also in media, I've seen what you've done for baseball. Why not go in line with pop sports that have been well known? Why softball and baseball?
Let me say I stumbled into baseball. I was in Punch when I got recruited as the executive secretary of the Nigerian Baseball and Softball Association, and that was as far back as 1992, So, and I felt that this is a great challenge, that a new thing that is coming up, and that it should not be all about soccer alone. Nigeria should be a country in which our children should be exposed to so many sports, like in Japan, like in the US, so you can breed a pool of talents in different places, and they can also play such sports at the professional level. It's going to be to the benefit of the country if we have people playing all the professional sports you can think of, and then increase the level of foreign exchange for Nigeria. At the same time, also expose their talents where they can be good. Not everybody could be able to tap soccer. Some could be good swimmers, good baseball players, some could be good table tennis players, and so on. So the country should be open up to explore that possibility of increasing the pool of talents in different places.
So, Mr. Tomonari, you agree with what you just said, that baseball and softball should be open in Nigeria and in other African countries. What do you think are the odds that is not making your foundation, softball and baseball across the globe, penetrate into Africa? Because especially in Nigeria, what are the stumbling blocks or what are the reasons why, since you've been promoting this sport, we've not even getting so much in terms of patronage for Nigerians?
Well, Nigeria is a very big country, right? Nigeria should be the leader of Africa. But unfortunately, the culture of sports is very, unfortunately, not rich, you know. So only sports is football is very popular, but other sports is not so much. Especially, the reason why I promote baseball in Africa is baseball is a very good sport to nurture young people, discipline, respect, and justice. This kind of value is very important in the society, especially young people learn such a value, then they can, they can brought up, right?
Okay.
To be a good citizens. Then they can influence the people in the community or society. Then baseball can change the country. That's what I'm believing.
Okay. Now, still on you, you mentioned some values, some
Yes.
possible values. Do you get these values while playing the game? Is it? Can we see the values during the process of practicing the game, or during the process of playing the game competitively, or you have a separate forum where you instill those values? How do we get those values from baseball?
Let me explain about the Japanese style baseball. The baseball is spread out all over the world except Africa, but there are some unique baseball culture, especially in Japan. In Japan, the baseball was spread out in schools, especially high schools. Then in high school, you know, the teacher manage baseball club teams. It's not a club team, baseball club team in the school. So teacher always nurture the players, not only as the players' ability, but also, you know, the value of discipline, respect, and justice. So in Japanese style baseball, when we start the game, we make a line, then face to face, all the players face to face, then bowing like this to respect each other. This is a very Japanese unique start in the game, but it is very good to show them the respect, the spirit of respect. You know, so we can learn very naturally why respect is important in a sport. Something like this.
Okay, fine. And I'm sure you mentioned something. I'll go to Mr. Kehinde right now. You mentioned that Japanese baseball and American baseball. Before I come to Mr. Kehinde, is there any difference between the Japanese baseball
Actually, it is said very different. You know, it's due
Who
to
invented the sport, Japan or America?
sorry?
Who invented the sport, baseball?
Baseball was born in USA.
Okay.
Right? Then in 1874, American came to Japan, then introduced baseball. That is the start, the history of baseball in Japan. But since then, baseball is always played in high school or university school. That is quite different because in USA, the baseball is played by the workers, you know. It's not in school, but workers or the club teams. But in Japan, played in schools. That's quite different.
Oh, okay. Now, these are values we wish we have here, Mr. Kehinde Laniyan.
Yes, I agree with you.
And which of them are you trying to adopt, or you're welcome to the party of each of them being their policy down here? We have a man, his policy, his foundation has to do with the Japanese style. And in front of us, you also know the American baseball and all that. And this instills values into the process of it. What are the hurdles that is stopping the country, Nigeria? You've been in charge for a very long time, since 1992. 1992. Why haven't we gotten those values, or why has we not seen baseball being played in schools and also within as a competitive game?
The major challenge to sports development in Nigeria, not only for baseball, but challenge to all sports apart from soccer, is the issue of voluntarism. You know, it's almost difficult for you to push any sports without voluntary efforts. And that is the way sports develop all over the world. Outside going for a naming ceremony, a burial ceremony, you hardly see parents following their children to sports events. You know?
Their own making.
Yes.
But is it their own making that they?
It's just our culture. It's just our culture. You see, you hardly see parents following their children to sports events. You know, although that is beginning to change now because I work in the college and I see so many schools coming to run inter-house sports, and you see parents all over. It's in the last almost 5 or 10 years that is changing. So what I'm saying is that for you to have serious sports development, people, communities, parents need to get involved. They need to see it as a project to get their children to play the sports. They need to know that there are values to be inculcated into children. For instance, when I was in school, I played a lot of table tennis. You know, and I know that at that time my mother really encouraged me. Anytime I come back from school, I'm right at the table tennis to go and play. And I play for 2-3 hours, and I go back to my class, you know. So you need parental involvement to get sports developed. Not only baseball alone, but generally all sports. Parents must be involved.
Yeah, interesting. But on the list from a report, we have infrastructure that have top reasons why we don't get our sport developed in this part of our world. We've seen that there's no grassroots development on that. And in your position, apart from the parents not getting involved or spirit of volunteerism, in terms of grassroots penetration, how much or how well has your foundation laid itself to ensure that, the association rather, to ensure that we see great baseball in schools?
Yeah, actually it's almost difficult for you to develop sports without getting involved in schools. You know, the primary objective that we have been working on in the last almost 20-25 years is to partner with schools generally. And in all those places where you see baseball being played in Nigeria, in Lagos, in Abuja, in Ibadan, in Ilorin, you see that they are always through the schools. It's hardly at the community level. You know, unlike where you have it in US when the community gets so much involved. But in Nigeria, the best way and the best route is to partner with schools.
So I'm sure you organized a program some months ago.
Yes.
Probably
about 4 weeks ago.
About 4 weeks ago.
Yes.
What did that program? Is it part of achieving penetrating schools?
Yeah.
Or what do you then achieve at the end of the 4 or 5 days program?
The major achievement of that program is that it has been very difficult for Nigerian players, Nigerian teams, to travel out of Nigeria. Major problem, visa. You can hardly get documentation for your visa to go to US or to go to Europe. You know, it's a lot of frustration. So you train players for 5, 6, 7 years, they are not able to go international. You know, therefore, what we have done is that if they cannot get to the tournament, we are bringing the tournament down to them. Definitely. So that is why we devised West African Little League tournament, which was even supported by Little League International. So if they are not able to travel, they are not able to get visa, but they will have competed among themselves at the West African level. And the more you play, the more you get skills, the more you practice, the more you get perfect, the more you develop. So that is one major achievement of that very tournament, bringing the tournament to our children and to the people. Yeah,
Mr. Tomonari, he said he stumbled on baseball. He's a table tennis player, stumbled on baseball. Is that also your story, or how did you come across baseball in Japan? Or was it a ripple effect of what everybody was doing? Tell us how you came across baseball.
Well, in Japan, the baseball is the most major sport in Japan.
Still now?
Still now, yes. Football is number 1 or number 2 nowadays. But when I was childhood, only baseball is played in Japan. So naturally, I came to play baseball when I was 10 years old. So since then, almost 48 years, I'm always together with the baseball. So many people watching TV, in which the baseball is always broadcasting. So many people are very easy to access baseball. That's Japan.
Okay, that's Japan. And now, still on Japan and baseball, what are the skills that a child must have?
Yeah, many parents are very easy to access baseball, and also parents are very satisfied when their children play baseball. Then they get the discipline, respect each other, and a spirit of justice. So baseball is called very good to nurture young people. That's why still baseball is very popular.
Okay. Before we go to the next topic of the day, you mentioned some values, and maybe I didn't allow you. Just tell us, how do we get those values? Is it something you teach outside the field, or it's in the process of playing baseball in and out that will have those values, respect, equality, and all those things you mentioned? Is it why I play the game of baseball, I get it, or you have a foundation, or you have a forum that you tend to teach people about these values?
Well, it's both.
Okay.
Both. For example, in African people, normally they don't keep the time, right?
Okay.
When I say 3 o'clock is the time to start practice,
Okay.
but all the players coming not 3 o'clock, sometimes 3:59, but they are saying it's 3 o'clock. That's African. This is Africa, right?
Okay.
But when I start teaching baseball in Africa, I used to be the team manager of Ghana, Tanzania, and South Sudan.
Oh, okay.
Then when I start teaching baseball, they always come late. But I always
Both
say,
in Ghana, Tanzania.
and South Sudan.
What probably must be the reasons why they do come late? Because we are Nigerians. Actually, some of us, not all of us, some of us. Like you came with him. Both of you kept to time for coming to the studio. You understand? Even 1 hour ahead.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's everybody. But what are the reasons why your athletes don't keep to time?
That's because maybe the African people are living in Africa, and infrastructures like transportation is not exactly on time. That's why. So maybe everybody, feel that's natural. But in Japan, always coming very tightly. When they want to come on 3 o'clock, then they can come easily 3 o'clock. That is the background of this. But at the same time, in Africa, even in Africa, they can keep on time, because in baseball, the most important thing is the anticipation and preparation, confirmation. This kind of thing is always in playing baseball. Not only in playing baseball, in the practice or something, So when I teach the players to keep on time, then I say, baseball is always anticipation is very important. Anticipation means what's coming next, what we are now. There are out count or runners, something like this. Every time the situation changes, so all the players must think what we are now, what's coming next, then what we have to prepare. That's quite different from the football, because football, always ball is moving. Every player is moving, right?
At the same time.
Yeah, but in baseball, when pitcher hold the ball, right? Then start throwing, right? Then batter hits the bat. Then grounder, run to the first base. Fielders catch the ball and throw to the first base. Then out or safe, it depends. But then the play stops. So we have to stop, then think. What's going now? What's coming next? Everybody think. Then next ball, next action starts. So there are playing time and the rest time. During the rest time, all the players must think what's coming next. Anticipation, preparation. So to keep on time is also the same. Why you come delay? Why you delay, right? Then there are many reasons, like because of the traffic jam, because of the raining.
Definitely.
But nowadays, traffic jam always there. Then we can anticipate traffic jam is there. Then we can start earlier. That is anticipation and preparation, right? Also, if it rains, now the players have the smartphone. They can get the weather information, right? oh, okay, it's rain is coming. Then let's start the house earlier, right? Anticipation, preparation. So we can do something like this. That is baseball. So when I tell the players, if you want to be a good player, anticipation, then preparation, then you can come on time. All the players come on time.
Interesting.
That's the baseball.
I'm sure that we'll get more of that. Away from baseball, we go straight to an ex-international, Wilson Oruma. A few weeks ago, we have a report that Wilson Oruma is bedridden. He had some issues, mental issues, and we know in the past, such stories that come up where the former president of the Nigerian Football Federation talking about Amaju Pinnick as a certain time helped his condition. But a few weeks ago, we had Wilson Oruma being shown pictures of him in the hospital and all that. Whether those pictures are accurate pictures or the accurate video or the videos in the past, Wilson Oruma, teammate with Kanuako Fesazodini in Japan 93. Fortunately, we have a Japanese here. Japan 93 that stormed the world to give us our Under-17 World Cup. We also had him in Atlanta 96, where he gave us the Olympic gold with some of his teammates. He has come out to let the world know that he's ill and at it. That means to say that he's well and everything is going on with it. So should dispel and debunk all rumor about mental issues and all that. We go from football with Oruma to marathon, and we have the 9th edition of the Okpekpe 10-kilometer road race will take place in a later date. We have the Edo State ready to host that. And we have the governor, the deputy governor of Edo State, retired Honorable Philip Shaibu, telling us much about the 9th edition of Okpekpe 10-kilometer road race.
Delighted and happy that we have kept Okpekpe race alive. And our target, we are almost there. We are not there yet, but our target, we are getting closer and closer. And the games are becoming better, stronger, and more popular in the entire world as far as road races is concerned. Our target is to get to diamond. And when we got to silver, it was difficult. It was as if it was not going to come again when COVID broke out. But we are excited and happy that after COVID-19, we were able to bounce back. Today, this year's race will be running on a golden platform. We are now gold labeled. And that means we are getting closer to our target. And by the time we get there, obviously, Okpekpe race will be among one of the best in the world as far as road races is concerned.
Yes, good news that now we have a lot of bloom that has to do with marathon. Just a few days ago, we brought you a report on the first ever Abuja International Marathon. And we're also telling you that in a few days, weeks' times, there will be the 9th edition of the Okpekpe 10-kilometer road race, which I have been there. Interesting atmosphere going on. So if you're just joining us, we still have 2 honorable men whose mission is to promote baseball and softball in Africa. Yes, I was speaking to Mr. Tomonari before the break, and I'm coming to you. You are excited about the narration of how you can instill these qualities on baseball and softball players. Now, we keep saying baseball, but we also know the softball is a female version of baseball. Mr. Kehinde, which of this gender has embraced this sport the more? Is it the female that plays softball or the male that go for baseball? And tell us how you on your own side and association have been able to instill those qualities the Japanese has instilled in their players when it comes to these sports.
In Nigeria, deliberately what we have done is to say that girls should play softball, while boys should play baseball.
Okay, it's a deliberate act.
It was a deliberate act,
Okay.
you know. But all over the world, particularly in developed countries, female play baseball, men play softball, and so on. In fact, there were two major organizations before about 2014 when they now merged together and came under the umbrella of WBSC, World Baseball and Softball Confederation, with a view to entering into the Olympics. Because as far as the Olympic movement is concerned, they just believe that they are similar, you know, and therefore they don't want to take them separately. So for them to comfortably enter into the Olympics, the two organizations merged. And then, of course, at the level of WBSC, they all play, both male and female play baseball and softball. But in Nigeria and Africa, majorly, except South Africa, what we have done is to say female should play softball, while male should play baseball.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the difference as in regards to rules and the technicality between baseball and softball in Nigeria, Mr. Kehinde?
They are different. They are different in the sense that, one, the size of the pitch is different.
Okay.
You know. Then secondly, the way they pitch the ball is different. Baseball is overhand, while softball is underhand. Okay. You know. And then, of course, the ball in baseball and softball is bigger, so it's more visible than baseball. Baseball's ball is smaller. You know, and like I always say, I said it's a tricky thing. You want to hit a round ball with a round bat, you know, not a flat bat. It's a very tricky thing, and it requires a lot of skills to do so. So, but the two of them still bat with round ball, unlike cricket that you use a flat bat to bat a round ball. So, then the rules are a bit dissimilar. You know, the rules are a bit dissimilar. You know, and then of course I think even softball is even faster than baseball, you know, in terms of timing, because the pitch is smaller, you know, and then the distance between the pitcher and the home plate is also smaller compared to that of baseball. So you need more time. You need a lot of time to complete the cycle in softball. So these are some of the similarities. And in advanced countries where this thing is played, they believe they are totally different. But some of us Africans, we don't see any difference. We just say they are eating the same thing, you know. So that's the way it is.
Now, people watching us out there in their devices, whether platform that are watching us right now, can you, you've been the secretary of the association, can you mention major places, institutions in this country that you can say, go there, they play baseball on a particular day, go to the other time, there's a place they play baseball on the other, because we know in football, we don't need to mention anywhere. Yes. Just walk across the streets.
Yeah.
You see them playing the sport. In table tennis, just go to any club or anywhere in the street. Mention major places where they play this sport in this country.
In Lagos, they play it in King's College.
Okay.
Your big King's College.
Okay.
They play it in Igbobi College.
Okay.
They play it in Osho, the Comprehensive High School. Okay. They play it in Osho, the Junior School. They play it in Air Force Wheel. Those are Lagos. Okay. Those are Lagos places where they play. They play it in about 3 or 4 places in the Ikorodu, schools in the Ikorodu, you know, and so on and so forth. You know, I think in Lagos we have not less than 15 schools where they play baseball. And we have not less than 50 coaches of baseball in Lagos alone, you know. And then when you go to Ibadan, you have not less than 10 schools where they play baseball. In Ilorin even has a big baseball park, the most standard baseball park in the whole of Africa, south of Sahara, you know. And then, it was built by Kwara State government as far back as 1991.
What interest was that?
That is Adewale Baseball Park.
What do you think must have been the interest that back in 1990?
In 1991.
That a government in Lagos, in Kwara State, built a baseball.
Yes.
I'm sure a lot of people don't know that, but what do you think from your own experience?
Because at that time, most of the people who play baseball always come from Ilorin, you know. Yes, because at that time, the center of development for baseball was in Ilorin at that time, you know. So the government was motivated to say, let me build this park for them, you know. And it's been there. In fact, recently, the present government of Razak actually renovated the park. I don't know the amount, but close to almost 200 million, you know, to renovate it and bring it to a standard. You know, that park can host conveniently international tournament, you know, any international tournament conveniently.
Unfortunately, from my reports and experience in the job of reporting sport, Kwara State is more known for badminton and squash more than baseball. What do you must have been the reason why that sport didn't go beyond just having a big facility?
You mean in Ilorin?
In Ilorin.
I think there is a need for the community, baseball community, in order to do more.
Or is it a facility in an environment that don't like baseball?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it has to do with the psyche of people.
Okay.
People just believe that they must go to the stadium to go and play, and not
Oh,
to the park.
okay.
So you see all the baseballers,
Everything has to
all
be in
the
the
footballers.
stadium.
In fact, most of the footballers, most of the baseballers are even in Laniyan Stadium. But I learned recently the governor said, go back to your park. We'll build the park for you.
Interesting. Thank you for that knowledge. I'm sure people are grateful that, yes, in Ilorin we have that. Now, you don't stay in Nigeria. You're here for a purpose. And I'm sure one of the reasons is to promote baseball. I also have report that you've been to Abuja in the past, and that was a baseball pitching at the MKO Abiola International Stadium. Now you're here. How do you want to promote baseball, or what do you have in stock for the promotion of the sport? Also including with the Secretary General. So are you here in Nigeria too?
Yes. So what I'm doing here, not only in Nigeria but in Africa, is to promote baseball-ship education.
Baseball and ship education.
Yes. That is the sportsmanship, a neutral sportsmanship to young people by baseball.
Okay.
That's what we call baseball-ship education. Then this is a very important value, as I told you, and also I think it's very necessary things in African society. I'm believing that because I have experience of living in Africa, starting from Ghana, Tanzania, South Sudan, and also go around 14 countries in Africa. 14 is not so many. But I saw many people. I have a lot of friends. I saw many society, many structures. Then, discipline, respect, justice. That is always necessary. So that's why now baseball can do it. Supporting by baseballship to promote it in each country. That's what I can contribute to Africa, because I love Africa, African people, and also I have one very big experience in Johannesburg in 1999. At that time, I was the team manager of Ghana national baseball team and brought the team to Johannesburg and had the game against Nigeria and some other countries. But at that time, there was an opening ceremony in the Johannesburg National Stadium. Then, at the time, the president of South Africa said something like this: everybody, now it's an all-African game. We start. Then, Africa is gathered now. Africa is one. That's what he said. Then all the people from 54 countries, are proud and, praised. I saw that scene. It's very emotional, and I'm motivated. Well, Africa is originally one. But because of the history, there are 54 countries and some areas, but Africa is one. So through baseball, I can make the peaceful area in Africa through baseball. That's my philosophy. So not only Ghana, Tanzania, South Sudan, but also Nigeria as a #1 country in Africa, and also other countries. That's what I'm doing for activities of our foundation.
And the association which you head as the Secretary General will benefit from this. So what are the benefits that you tend to derive from this Japan? As the president of JABS, what are the association or Nigerians tend to gain from this?
Yeah, I think one major gain is that we want to step on his feet, the path that he's following. For somebody who is coming from a country where baseball is #1. In fact, Japan is the best country in baseball as of today, even beating America to it.
Are you saying that if you have a Japan national team, Japan,
Oh, yes.
the U.S. national team, baseball.
Yes.
The Japanese national team would defeat the American.
No, it's the best now, today, as of today.
In the
in
present
ranking, yes,
ranking.
yes. It's the number 1 team all over the world. The Japanese team is the number 1 team all over the world.
Who's number 3rd?
I think America is number 2, but I think number one is
now
Japan.
world ranking is number 1 in Japan.
Oh, number 2?
Yes, number 2 maybe USA.
Maybe USA. I think
Yes.
USA.
Okay.
You know, maybe USA.
Because you keep mentioning just 2 countries when it comes to baseball.
Yeah.
What are the other countries involved too?
Oh, there are many other countries: South Korea, China, Cuba. But so many countries. You know, there are more than 150 countries playing baseball all over the world. You know, so like I said, you know, so we have a lot to learn from him. You know, because of the experience he's bringing to the table. For us to learn from. We are talking about a tradition of well over 150 years. The tradition of baseball in Nigeria is less than maybe 40 years, you know, 40 years. So we have a lot to learn from him, and we are prepared to learn.
Okay. I'm curious, and I'm sure that'll be in the mind of other viewers out there. Why haven't we gotten a national team, even if baseball is still developing? You mentioned he was a team manager for Ghana.
Yes.
Which other country?
And Tanzania and South Sudan.
And this country is better than us when it comes to developing baseball. Why haven't we gotten, even if it's not a full structure, national team? I mean,
well, Nigeria has a national team. He just told you that he was the team manager for Ghana, and Nigeria defeated them. That was about 25 years ago. Okay. You know, Nigeria was number 2 for close to almost 15 years.
About
number
now?
2 all over Africa. Of course, we are not number 2. We are no longer number 2. We are probably number 4, number 5 right now, due to some itches. But we will bring it back. You know, we are going to bring it back. Presently, Nigeria has a national team that is going to Ghana. You know, for baseball 5. They are starting in about 10 days' time. You know, so we have national team.
So those national teams, does it also being governed? Have been the government support when it comes to developing baseball and softball in Nigeria? The ministry,
the federal government support is almost nil.
Almost
nil. You know, and it's
You've
like
reached out to them, or is it deliberate? Because
I want to believe it is deliberate. I want to believe it is deliberate.
Some people, are scared of my effort. No government should come and jack the effort of maybe 50 men who has developed. And it's true, your effort. You've been there for a long time. You've done that. And I'm sure there's not that face, except you point to the face in this country when it comes to say softball and baseball, than you. With all your resources, you've done this, you've done that. Is it a matter of we don't want to be overshadowed by the government, or the government don't want to support?
I think it's a deliberate act, you know. It's a deliberate act, and I think it's a deliberate act of technocrats, not government, you know.
Because some even said sports should be with technocrat and private sector, not government.
Yeah, the belief of the organization is that it is better to leave sports in the hand of the people. Because one, a federal government cannot leave Abuja to develop sports at the grassroots level. In a particular street. It's not possible. And that is why we are dragging in so many sports. You know, the government should be concerned about doing the major thing of building infrastructure people, setting guidelines, policy guidelines, which will pass through the National Assembly as an act. You know, you pass it and then you allow people to take their destiny in their hands and drive it. That is the philosophy of Baseball and Softball Association. And when people go out to represent Nigeria, they fly Nigerian color. They don't fly their personal color. You know, the loyalty is to the country when you go out. Therefore, there is a need for government to know that there is something in this for us. Let us support it. This value is talking about the value of loyalty, the value of honesty, the value of respect. These are values that help countries all over the world. It's not a mistake that Japan and US are the best in baseball, and they are the most disciplined country, and they are highly developed. You know, it's not a mistake.
It's not a mistake. Before we look into another topic going on, because time is no longer our friend. In Japan, how is sport being run, especially baseball? Is there government support, or has it been done in Japan?
Government doesn't support, but there's a big market in Japan. You know, professional baseball, there are 12 teams professional, and also 3,000 or more high school club teams. And always the TV program make a program of baseball. So many people concern the baseball. So there's a very big market. Government is not necessary to support.
No financial support?
No financial support.
Interesting. That's, we hope that this is for those arguing for government support for sports. Some are saying that, like Mr. Kehinde said, that it should just be in the hands of those that will develop it. Government should make policy. We also have another school of thought that said government needs to support, government needs to put on. But away from that, we'll go straight to Napoli, in Naples, where we have Victor Osimhen doing so well. The winnings here for the first time in 33 years. In the match, we saw them equalizing, Osimhen equalizing in the 52nd minute to give Italian Serie A giant. They're not giants according to report. It's just a small city in the south region of Italy, who we know that a lot of people strive so well to be the best, and they've done that. And it takes our mind back to Diego Armando Maradona, late right now, who gave them the first one many years ago, 33 years ago. But there's one man, a Lagos man, spending all his life in Lagos. He might be your neighbor, but we know Victor Osimhen is the man everybody is talking about. We show you the highlights of the match and also let you know the reaction of the people of Napoli for doing this wonderful one.